What's up, sports bettors? I have 7 player prop bets for tonight. You are going to absolutely love them. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. So, first of all, you can see the Saints are best offered at plus 134. So, we try to keep this YouTube educational. As a sharp bettor, all you're trying to do is beat the VIG, beat the juice, right? Sportsbooks typically charge 3 to 5 to 6% VIG juice in their markets. So your goal is to beat that. That's how you get a profitable bet, right? If you're looking to get rich overnight, you're probably on the wrong channel. Although I do have 7 really good bets for you today. So let's go ahead, let's get into it. And again, browsing odds on OddsJam for any sport you want to look at is going to be completely free. So you can look at it kind of on, the main, drop down where you can browse odds for all these markets, as well as on our new screen where the goal is essentially just to help you find value. So for example, if you go to player passing yards in the NFL, what this screen will show you is just like it allows you to easily kind of compare lines between sports books and look for value, right? So for example, here's a huge discrepancy. On Prize Picks, Patrick Mahomes, his passing yards line is at 270.5. On Underdog Fantasy, it's at 290.5. So that's a 20-yard difference in terms of passing yards. Oh my gosh, look at Zach Wilson as well. 175.5 versus 203.5. That's pretty ridiculous. But regardless, let's go ahead and let's kind of get into some of the player prop bets I have. So the first player prop I ended up going with is Mitch Marner to record an assist. And I paired that with Sidney Crosby to record an assist. So I played these both on Thrive Fantasy, which you can see kind of right here. I have Mitch Marner to record an assist over Sidney Crosby to record an assist over. So again, Thrive Fantasy is a DFS platform, right? Where essentially any 2-leg parlay on the platform, you're getting 1,000 to win 3,600. So 1,000 to win 2.6K in profit, 1,000 to win 3,600 total, but that includes your stake. So it's 1,000 to win 2.6K in profit. And all you have to do is win both picks, right? So it's essentially just a 2-leg player prop parlay where you're getting plus 260 odds, 1,000 to win 2.6K profit. So if we go ahead and we open up like a parlay calculator, just so this kind of makes sense where this minus 111 is coming from, is the way these fantasy companies work, like Thrive Fantasy, is it's 1,000 to win 3,600 for any 2-pick parlay, any 2 picks, right? So essentially, they're giving you the implied juice of minus 111. 1,000 to win 3.6K, 2.6K in profit is just a plus 260 odds parlay where both legs are minus 111. So when we're looking for value on Thrive Fantasy, we just assume we're getting minus 111 juice, right? So you can see these 2 picks on Thrive, Mitch Marner to record an assist, Sidney Crosby to record an assist. These are my first 2 of 7 player props, and the value is ridiculous, right? Like, on DraftKings, this same parlay would come out to be 1,000, to win 2.85K, plus 185 odds. We're getting literally like 40% better odds. 1,000 to win 3.6K, right, which is 2.6K in profit. So would you rather have 1.8K in profit or 2.6K in profit, right? This is how you beat the VIG. This is how you find value as a sharp sports bettor. So I ended up going with this 2-pick NHL parlay. And again, like this is just rational sports betting, as I call it. You can see, every sports book is pricing Mitch Marner to record an assist from minus 148 to minus 156. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. This is just, of course, the pinnacle column. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 different sports books all telling us the over should be heavily juiced, right? The over should be heavily favored, which is why the sports books are pricing it at minus 150. So essentially, if you remove the juice from these sportsbook markets, you can get an estimate of what the win probability for the bet is, which is just what a no-vig odds calculator does, right? It takes a market. So if we put in Pinnacle's market, minus 156 on the over, plus 117 on the under. So they're giving you plus money on the under. They have the over. You have to bet $156 to win back 100. So obviously the over is favored. And essentially the win probability for this bet is 56.94% with the VIG removed and with the VIG removed, the true odds is minus 132, right? So this is kind of the no vig odds if you considered every sportsbook in the market, which is going to be pretty similar to Pinnacle because all these sportsbooks are, pretty similar in where they're offering their market. And Pinnacle is the sharpest sportsbook, so of course more weight goes into their market when you're looking at the no vig odds column on OddsJam. So you can see here, the no vig odds to Pinnacle are going to be minus 132. If you consider, every sports book, it's going to be a little lower, minus 131, which makes sense, right? Because Pinnacle was the most juiced on the over, so they're the most bullish. They think Mitch Marner is most likely, compared to any other sports book, to go over in terms of assists. So regardless, it's just rational sports betting again. When you have when you have 1, 2, 3, 4 data points all telling you, hey, this line should be set at minus 150, you're getting it minus 111, clearly a ton of value. And then same with the Crosby play. So the profit margin of this parlay, which I threw $1,000 on, 1,000 to win 3.6K, based on the win probability for each player to get an assist, just based on, literally the no vig odds right here, is going to be $131. So we have $131 on our first player prop on Thrive Fantasy. And we have some videos about how to back out the profit margin, stuff like that. But long story short, when DraftKings is giving you plus 180 and we're getting plus 260, you're clearly beating the VIG. Like, there's a lot of profit margin kind of baked into these plays. So just look for the bets in bold with a circle around them on OddsJam and absolutely hammer them. Those were the first two I crushed. Next, I have AJ Green over 2.5 receptions. So let's go back here and let's find where this play was. So I want to get rid of that. Right here, 5.62% profit margin, ridiculous value on Caesars at plus 165. So just another positive EV play. Again, I'm literally like forming my own portfolio of sharp, profitable bets. So this is the first one. It's a parlay, but both legs should have been like priced at minus 130. We're getting them minus 111 in a Thrive entry. So this parlay, is ridiculous at plus 260 odds, So the true odds, if you wanted to see the true odds for this parlay, in other words, what would the parlay we'd be indifferent to betting it? It would be plus 218. So this parlay is fair or true odds at plus 218. We're getting it plus 260, which is 42 cents better, which is why this is positive EV, right? There's always a price where you should want to bet a team, right? Even if you hate the Saints and you think the Saints suck, would you bet them? And my bet on AJ Green was $125 if you scroll back. But it's like, even if the Saints, you don't like them at plus 122, I mean, just given that the Cardinals are offered at minus 145, you have to like the Saints at plus 150. Right? Like, you have to like the Saints at plus 150. And again, it's just rational sports betting. Same thing here. We ended up taking Ryan Hopkins not to record an assist. So now we're fading him to get an assist. And why do we like it? Why is it so clearly good? Well, you have Pinnacle, the sharpest bookmaker, juicing this to minus 140. DraftKings, Caesars, FanDuel are all in line, kind of pricing this at minus 136, minus 139, minus 135. And then we have PointsBet, minus 115, so kind of similar to Thrive, but all these other data points are telling us, hey, you should be hammering this under, and this is the sharpest bookmaker, so this is a great play to include on Thrive. So anyways, for the AJ Green play, 5.62% profit margin was the EV, right? 5.62%. We hit it for $125, so our bet has $7 in profit margin. And again, you can see like on this sheet, it says not live profit, no promos, no fantasy. So I've been tracking, profit and loss for any plays that aren't fantasy. So this is no promos, no BS, just straight up sports bets. Since the start of NFL season, I've included in my YouTube videos, and we're up 22.7K. So hopefully you've been with us since our first bet on September 12th. It's now October 20th. And granted, we are running very hot. If you've been following along with these bets in the sheet, we had the Cowboys a couple weeks in a row when Cooper Rush was going crazy. There were a lot of EV plays. But regardless, even on live streams, where again, no promos. Everyone can make money off these easy promos. We're up 8.6K on live streams. So these are literally bets you could have tailed in live stream or on live stream. So let's keep going because I have a lot more player props. So we just went through this Ryan one, but then it starts to get a little more interesting here in a second. Although I will say there's also one more play I went with, which is Giannis over 48.5 PRAs. So you can take a look here. This was just a positive EV bet. So again, it's like free to browse odds on OddsJam. That's free. And all this positive EV betting tool does is it takes all this data in the market and points out to you, hey, here's where the value is, right? So for Giannis, you can see every sportsbook has his over 48.5 PRAs juiced towards the over. FanDuel has it juiced towards the over, at 49.5. So they have this a full point higher, right? So this bet, looks great to FanDuel clearly because FanDuel has the over 49.5 juiced to minus 125. We're getting over 48.5 at minus 111 on Thrive. DraftKings only 20 cents in width, pricing this at minus 125. Bet Online and Pinnacle, two really sharp offshore sports books, have this minus 143 and minus 139. So we're just using all this data in the market to be like, yeah, that's a play we want to be all over, is on Thrive, Giannis over 48.5 PRAs. So that's another play I went with. So now we have a lot of player props done, but let's keep going because it starts to get interesting. So you can see we had a 2.62% profit margin on this play. So I typically just sort OddsJam, by profit margin, and then I just kind of like click in and I'm like, okay, like as a sharp bettor, I'm always looking for bets on sale. I'm always looking for plays with value enough to beat the VIG and have a positive profit margin, right? Do you get rich overnight with 2.62% returns? No, but nothing gets you rich overnight, right? It's finding bets with a 2% edge and watching that compound on a daily basis. And obviously, the first play we went through on Thrive was absolutely ridiculous. I mean, this play was ridiculous. So anyways, next we have Hopkins. So DeAndre Hopkins over 59.5 receiving yards. So that's a play for tonight. And I found this on the OddsJam middle betting tool. So what the middle betting tool will show you is, if we take a look here, is it just shows you where do sportsbooks have the line set at vastly different levels. So what you'll notice here is what OddsJam is highlighting to us is, hey, DeAndre Hopkins, his receiving yards line is at an OU of 59.5 on Thrive. But all the sportsbooks, have the over 64.5, 62.5 juiced. DraftKings has the over 61.5 juiced. So when we can get over 59.5 at minus 111, when we have 2 sportsbooks telling us, hey, the over 61.5 should be minus 135, then you have another sportsbook who tells you, hey, the over 62.5 should be minus 129, and then you have Bet Online telling you, hey, the over 64.5 should be minus 135, and then you have PointsBet and all these other bookmakers telling you the total, his receiving yards line should be at 65.5. It's very clear, just based on the fact that all these other sportsbooks have his receiving yards line higher, and they have the over for the most part heavily juiced, that we're getting a ton of value at minus 111 on Thrive. So I ended up hitting that, which you can see right here. So DeAndre Hopkins over Ryan Hopkins. So I went with both Hopkins in the same one. I figured that was a bit lucky. That would be a bit lucky. So we're taking DeAndre Hopkins over 59.5 receiving yards. And then we have Nugent Hopkins not to record an assist. Then we have Marner and Crosby to both get an assist. And again, this is just like data-oriented sports betting, right? And it's free to browse odds on OddsJam. So you really just want to be like an investigator or like an investor, right? You treat this like you're looking for stocks that are on sale, and you try to place as many value bets as you can on a daily basis. And granted, is DeAndre Hopkins 100% to go over 59.5 receiving yards? No. Will this play get you rich overnight, a plus 260 parlay? Probably no. The point is, looking at all the other data points in the market, it's very clear that there's great value at minus 111. So I ended up hitting this play, right? I mean, Bet Online is one of the sharpest offshore sports books. They have, first of all, the line 5 yards higher, and they have it juiced to minus 135, right? So Bet Online saying the over 64.5 should be minus 135 and the under should be plus 104. They're pricing the true odds on the over 64.5 at minus 117. We're getting the over 59.5, 5 yards lower, at minus 111. So a lot of value. So next play I ended up going with is, so we went through this Giannis prop, minus 111. Data-oriented sports betting. It frickin' crushes it. And it's fun because you know you're going to win in the long run. That's what's great about positive EV betting is you can put on a bunch of plays like this one where it's just clearly a play you want to be all over. FanDuel has the line juiced a point higher. DraftKings has this minus 125. The two sharpest bookmakers we can see right here are pricing this at minus 143, minus 139. So this bet just looks incredible, right? We're getting value to the no vig odds. So kind of a way I like to think about sports betting before we get to the final play is like, okay, like we have all these different data points in the market telling us, hey, the no vig odds or the true odds with the vig removed should be minus 117. We're getting it minus 111, right? So it's kind of like if you had a bunch, every different, stock exchange telling you, hey, this stock should be priced at $500, but on this random other exchange, Thrive Fantasy, you can buy it at $400. It's like, yeah, we want to buy it at $400 because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like every other data point in the market is telling us, hey, this should be, there's a lot of value in that, right? If you had all these data points telling you, hey, this stock is worth 500 and you're getting it at 400, that's a good deal, right? And it's the same thing in sports betting. When you have all these bookmakers telling you, hey, the over should be heavily juiced, and then the sharpest sports books are telling you, hey, should be minus 143 and minus 139, you're getting it minus 111, you want to clobber it. You want to be all over that play. So ended up going with that. Last play is AJ Green. So let's go to this play because I do like this as well. And it's a little bit of a hedge for our receptions play. I have him under 25.5 receiving yards. So once again, you can see most sports books, they either have the under 25.5 heavily juiced, or they have the under 24.5, which is a yard better because we're taking the under heavily juiced, right? Caesars has the under 24.5 at minus 154. DraftKings minus 140. BetOnline minus 133. Pinnacle minus 143. Ridiculous value on Thrive. So that's the final play I ended up going with. Giannis over, AJ Green under in terms of receiving yards. 2 plays here, and then that play on Caesars. And again, I'm just going to be tracking profit and loss for the sports bets, so not for fantasy. I should probably start doing it for fantasy in a separate tab, but then it's just more crap I have to remember to grade. But live streams, we're grading everything except promos, and we're up 8.6K, so I'll try to go live more. Everyone can tail the bets in real time, and as always, any questions you have, feel free to comment them below, and let's make some money tonight.